So you're in Botswana. It's hot. The sun is a scorching circle in the sky, lizards are sunbathing like they pay rent, and there's a woman, yes, a woman, of what she herself describes as traditional build, crouched under a thorn tree. Not for shade, not for picnic. She's hiding. She's on a case. This woman, she's not just any woman. She is Ma Precious Ramotswe, the one and only female private detective in all of Botswana, the proud owner of the #1 ladies detective agency. And yes, that's its official name. She didn't call it maybe number 3 or please don't call us. She went straight to the top. #1. Now, before we go further into her wildly clever and often hilarious sleuthing escapades, let's rewind a little. Because as every good detective knows, you don't solve the case until you understand the backstory. Ma Ramotswe was raised by a good man, a very good man. Obed Ramotswe, her father, worked in the mines of South Africa. Until one day, he simply had enough of dodging rockfalls and coughing up bits of his lungs. He returned home ill and broken, but with one thing intact: love for his daughter. Now Obed was the kind of father every child wants but few get. He never remarried after Ma Ramotswe's mother passed. He saved his money and bought cattle, almost 200. And when he felt his end was near, he asked his daughter to sell the cattle and buy a business. A butchery maybe, something respectable. But Ma Ramotswe had other ideas. She wanted to be a detective, a real one, not a policewoman, a private investigator. Botswana's own Miss Marple, with a little more meat on the bones. Thank you very much. So she sold those cows, ignored the skeptics, bought a little white van, a few office supplies, and rented a small space at the foot of Kial Hill. That's where the legend began.
So it begins.
And now, the fun starts. With a copy of the Principles of Private Detection in hand, and her instincts sharpened by village life and common sense, Ma Ramotswe opens for business. And boy, did the cases start rolling in. Let me walk you through some of her most memorable ones. Case 1. The Missing Husband. A woman walks into the agency, eyes red, lips trembling. "My husband is missing," she says. She suspects he's run off with another woman. Turns out she's right about the gone part, but not the girlfriend. The man was found in the belly of a crocodile. Yes, literally eaten by a crocodile. The twist? Ma Ramotswe still doesn't charge the widow for the investigation. Why? Because when the end is bad, there is no need to add to the pain with bills. She's a businesswoman, yes, but not a cold one. Case 2, the teenage daughter and Jack. So, Mr. Patel, a wealthy Indian businessman, hires Ma Ramotswe to spy on his daughter. He's convinced she's sneaking off with a boy named Jack, and well, he's just about ready to throw money at the problem, almost 10 times her regular rate. Ma Ramotswe takes the job, but later she really regrets charging so much. She says, "It is not right to take advantage even when the advantage is there to be taken." Now, that's a line you'll never hear from your phone company. Case 3, Dr. Jekyll and Dr. Mokoti. Dr. Mokoti, an old schoolmate of Ma Ramotswe, is puzzled by a colleague. Dr. Mokoti, sometimes he's absolutely brilliant and other times he can't even stitch a wound. Is it a split personality, possessed by spirits, high on something? Ma Ramotswe investigates and y'all, she discovers the shocking truth. Dr. Mokoti isn't one person, he's actually two. Twins, one trained and one not. The untrained brother was occasionally stepping in. So yes, people were getting treated by a fake doctor and no one even knew. Honestly, this one could have made it into a hospital horror film. But Ma Ramotswe cracked it wide open, discreetly, with plenty of tact and class. Case 4, the stolen boy. Now, perhaps the most touching case, this time a child goes missing and everyone just fears the worst. But Ma Ramotswe's clever deductions and her community connections reveal he's been taken to a distant farm just to look after cattle. This story really showed what Ma Ramotswe does best. Not just solving cases, but truly understanding people. She says, "There is no problem that cannot be solved if one pays enough attention and listens with the heart." And that, dear viewer, is the #1 ladies detective agency by Alexander McCall Smith. Let's talk about Ramotswe. She's unlike any detective you've met in literature. She's not glamorous. She doesn't chase suspects down dark alleys with a gun. No femme fatale, no martinis shaken not stirred. She drinks bush tea. She's built like Botswana itself, strong, wide, warm, and unmoved by nonsense. And yet she's brilliant. She uses what she calls the wisdom of Africa. And sometimes that wisdom means crouching under a window. Sometimes it means baiting a crocodile. And sometimes it's just knowing when to listen. She also drives her tiny white van with pride. It's not a flashy detective car, but for her, it's a partner. The two are practically inseparable, like Sherlock and his pipe, or Poirot and his mustache. Now, no story is perfect. I did find the opening chapters detailing Obed Ramotswe's life and Ma Ramotswe's early days a bit too long. It almost made me forget this was a detective novel. At some point I thought, wait, are we following her or him? But I get it. This is the first book in a long series, and McCall Smith probably wanted to ground us in the why before diving into the what. Still, it could have been tighter. Also, I felt the story sometimes jumped from case to case too quickly. The investigations didn't always build tension. It was more like case solved next, a bit like flipping through TV channels. Some drama and suspense were sacrificed for brevity and variety. So why do I recommend this book? Because it breaks the mold. It doesn't paint Africa as one monolithic place of suffering and flies. It doesn't romanticize it either. McCall Smith gives us Botswana as a country in transition, a place with landline phones and witch doctors, a place where people go to church on Sunday but still fear curses, a place with both laughter and loss, corruption and kindness. And while the book deals with serious topics, abuse, crime, even death, it never loses its light touch. There's warmth on every page. There's love for the land and for the people. Even when dealing with criminals, Ma Ramotswe approaches things with compassion, not condemnation. It's also hilarious in that quiet, dry way. I mean, just imagine this line in context. "I am a woman," said Ma Ramotswe, "and I am a detective. That is what I am. Simple, declarative, unapologetic." Alexander McCall Smith is a Scottish author and professor of medical law who somehow writes about Botswana like he was born there. He lived and worked in Africa for a while, and his writing reflects both his affection for the place and his outsider's humility. He doesn't try to appropriate. He observes. Gently. He writes with a kind of reverence that, frankly, more writers could learn from. And lucky for us, this book is only the beginning. It's the first of many in the #1 Ladies Detective Agency series. So if you fall in love with Ma Ramotswe here, you don't have to say goodbye just yet. So, if you're looking for a detective story that won't depress you, that's full of heart, full of Africa, and full of humor, then get yourself a copy of the #1 Ladies Detective Agency. And when you do, tell me, which case was your favorite? And would you trust Ma Ramotswe with your secrets? Leave a comment like the video if you enjoyed it. And if you want more book reviews that go beyond the usual cliches, you know what to do. Subscribe. Until next time, keep reading and never underestimate a lady with a detective's mind and a teapot full of bush tea. Hey, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you're interested in diving deeper into this book, I've left some links down in the description. You can use it to grab yourself a copy and keep the adventure going. And if you're in the mood for more great reads, don't go just yet. Click on one of the videos popping up right now that I think you'll love. And don't forget to give this review a like, leave a comment, or even subscribe if you'd like to see more. Every bit of support helps us grow this little community of book lovers. See you in the next one.